and welcome to the Grumble and Grouch Show. I'm Grumble, along with Grouch.
Hello, folks.
And we just got back from watching Beetlejuice. Beetlejuice.
More like unwatchable. You want money back?
I thought it started off okay. I was kind of on board with the way this thing started off, but then little by little, my rating just kept dropping and dropping and dropping. So it was a mixed bag, but definitely more on the unwatchable side than being a solid movie. Yeah, the movie begins with the young girl Lydia. I think her name is Lydia.
You call her young?
Well, yeah. No. Well, in the original,
Good load.
Yeah, she aged pretty well, except her voice. Her voice is pretty rough.
She had a deeper voice than Beetlejuice.
I noticed as I watched this movie, Lydia's voice kept changing. Sometimes she's a very feminine quality. I was like, okay, she's got a nice, alluring voice.
And then she talk like this.
And all of a sudden, she becomes some orc. What's this? She goes,
Astrid, don't go into that house.
Astrid, where have you been?
Beetlejuice. Beetlejuice.
It's like Beetlejuice.
Meanwhile, Beetlejuice was like,
Beetlejuice.
what do you want?
Yeah. And like 5 seconds later, oh, hello, Beetlejuice. It's good to see you again. And the next one, Beetlejuice.
I don't know what was more messed up, that pebble haircut or like her throat, bro.
Yeah.
Her voice.
I was
box.
like, she aged pretty well, except for a voice, man.
The voice took the punches of the years, bro. She's 50, but her voice is 200.
Yeah. Seriously, bro. Sure, her face wasn't that bad for whatever 60, whatever she is. But that voice, man. Lay off the tobacco.
She should be the spokesperson for friggin' Dare. For the Dare program.
Yeah, dare to not smoke.
Look what it did to me.
Beetlejuice.
Banana cognac bits.
Beetlejuice. I've changed my mind. So, Lydia Dietz now she was married and her husband died. And so she's still in mourning or whatever. And she's a ghost hunter. Well, she has a ghost show. And she speaks to other people who've had like ghostly encounters. And the producer or whatever is her boyfriend. That while she's broadcasting the show, she sees like faint or images of Beetlejuice in the crowd. And she thinks she's kind of like losing it. And they also establish she goes to the bathroom. She wants to take some meds. And she sees a girl with a knife sticking in her forehead. And you think that maybe she's like part of the show or, but it turns out she can actually see dead people.
And she's no fraud.
And she's no fraud, yeah. So they establish right away that she can see dead people. I thought that may turn into something, but it really doesn't. I mean...
Because everybody can see dead people.
It seems that way, yeah.
What's her skill,
Yeah. So they establish that she has a drug problem because she wants to take these meds and her boyfriend doesn't want her to, and she's kind of losing a little, I guess. Well, actually, her father ends up dying, and they have some kind of like cartoony way of showing that her, I guess because they couldn't get the actor. I don't know if he's dead or whatever. I think he is dead. So her father, bird watching somewhere, and his plane crashes, and this is all animated, and he gets eaten by a shark. So they establish that. So they decide to go back to the old house where she was raised, Lydia, and have a funeral for the father who had just got eaten by a shark.
Same time this is happening, we get to actually meet like the main villain, I would say.
Right. Also, yeah, so what happens then is they have this other scenes where they show Danny DeVito is cleaning the floors in the afterlife. And he's got this little thing he's polishing the floors with, and he electrocutes, he runs over too much water, which is kind of dumb. Those things are built to be running on water, and all of a sudden these sparks fly all over, and a couple of boxes open up, and some broad shows up, and she attaches herself. Unfortunately, there happens to be a staple gun right there, and she starts stapling her face together. She's stapling her legs together, and next thing you know, she's whole now with all these staples all through her body.
I thought I just watched this movie last week, Deadpool or something. Like,
yeah,
going back together.
It's kind of a lame start in my book. It's not not that good. So I thought it was kind of stupid. She's a staple herself, and now she's like, "Where's Beetlejuice?" Okay, so there's the antagonist. So the whole movie, this broad is chasing, but you don't see that much of her. She's just seen here and seen there, and
She'd be sucking everybody's soul.
yeah, yeah. There's a lot of that. She sucks their souls. So
If she sucked on me like that, I wouldn't deflate. I'd be like, ooh, lady.
Yeah, no, she
Give me some mo.
She wasn't too bad looking. And it turns out later on, this is actually Beetlejuice's.
She was potent.
Beetlejuice's wife, and they married like some 600 years ago or something like that. And he used to be an Italian. That's kind of dumb too. Is where they show he's like grave robbing and taking stuff off of dead bodies.
That's actually Beetlejuice's story.
Yeah, they got
Like
finally get a backstory to Beetlejuice and how he came to be. And he was grave robbing in the, 600 years ago in Italy. And he meets some girl, and they fall in love. And it was kind of dumb, too. The whole romance they had. And then they eventually introduced the daughter character. Her name is Astrid. And so once again, it's 2024. We got to have a girl that's too cool for school.
She's in the DARE program, too.
Yeah. She's, of course, ultra feminist. I don't need no man. You know, they just slow me down.
Or gym class.
Yeah, again, here we go again. This ultra super strong feminist. And and it's so funny too. They go off for Halloween. Who's she gonna dress up as? Mary Curie, or whatever the fuck her name was. What was her name?
I don't know, some radiation.
Yeah.
Victim.
She goes, "Oh, you're Marie
Renelli.
Curie after the radiation. Oh, yeah, you notice? They get one scientist, all the history, and we're never going to hear the end of it." Yeah, so she's Marie Curie after she got radiation poisoning, for all you fans of Marie Curie. So and one of the issues I had right from the jump, this movie really dragged. I was bored many times. It's just a lot of dialogue, a lot of boring scenes. I thought it started off pretty good. I really thought they were kind of going to lean more into like where she's like a ghost hunter or something. She's talking to other people who had experiences with ghosts, and she's going to maybe go to these haunted houses and I don't know, and then maybe find out who's haunting it. But no, none of that. It's just they want to establish that she can see the dead, and that's pretty much it. And then they introduce Beetlejuice. And they run into Beetlejuice in the afterlife, and he has like maybe 10, 12 Beetlejuices with like miniature heads working for him, like huge bodies of little tiny heads, which again didn't make sense to me because in the original, I think one guy gets his head shrunken with that voodoo guy drops the stuff on his head, and his head shrinks. I don't know, all of a sudden there's like 9 more of them, but okay, we just gotta assume. I don't know. He become friends with that guy. Now he shrunk other guys' heads. And there's this one guy who becomes his buddy. He's like Bob. Bob has this, he's the same outfit Beetlejuice has, like black and white stripes. And but I thought, okay, whatever. I'm on board. I can get behind it.
So we find out about. So the girl's dad passes away, right? And so something I found very crazy was the funeral scene. They're like burying the guy. And they have like a little boy choir, like choir or whatever.
Oh, yeah.
And like the song they were singing was like a happy song.
Yeah.
And it was like, I don't know who has more fun at a funeral. People from Wakanda or like Beetlejuice, man.
They're singing bananas or something. I don't even know what was going on.
I want to go home.
Yeah.
Like, what?
Yeah. Yeah. It was a song from the original movie. It was
Stack banana till the morning come.
That's
shit's.
That's a good funeral song. Right?
Yeah, no. Everyone sings about bananas at funerals, don't they? I don't know.
Maybe he's like slipped on a peel or something.
Yeah.
It would be like fitting.
Yeah.
But
again, it's just member berries. Oh, you remember from the original movies when they sang that song? Well, watch. We're going to play it again in this movie. Isn't that great, guys?
At the funeral.
Yeah. It made no sense. Why would you sing that song? It's stupid.
Yeah.
A lot of member berries in this movie.
Yo, how'd you feel about the lady, the main villain?
I thought she was hot. Other than that, she was useless. I didn't care for her whatsoever, man. Yeah, the whole movie is, they kept just showing her. Maybe she's like a 5-minute screen time. But every time they showed her, she would meet some random guy, and then she would just suck the soul out of him.
Yeah, well, one of the funniest scenes of the movie comes from that, actually. But before that, when she was like stapling herself, I was like, please don't staple your vagina.
Keep that open, please.
Please. But anyways, one of the funniest scenes comes from, she's looking for Beetlejuice, and she goes inside the dry cleaner.
Oh my god. Best scene in the whole movie.
Yeah, that's my favorite part.
There was some Chinese guy who goes, we close.
We are close!
I'm sorry to bother you. My name's Charles Dietz. Feeling a little lightheaded. Where am I?
Them newbies. You wait! In waiting room!
All right. Unbelievable.
I think if he would have said like we closed, I wouldn't have thought.
Listen,
but he's like we closed,
and that was the best actor and the best acted scene in the entire movie. I would love to see more of this guy, you know.
Yeah, but she sucked his soul. Man.
Yeah, but she sucked his soul. Man, no, my favorite guy in the whole movie is gone.
Spit him back out.
Okay, so then what happens too is
and one more thing. What? Where does these souls go? Does she like fart them out? Like,
yeah. That's a good point.
Huh?
Where do they
She
go?
just gets
I
full
don't
of
know.
soul?
Yeah, she just sucks them in, and where do they go?
Yeah.
They gotta go somewhere, right?
They're like in her small intestine or something.
Yeah.
They can't get through because it's stapled shut.
Yeah.
I don't know, man.
That broad must be bloated at this point. I don't know.
I mean, like, seriously, right?
Yeah, where do the souls go? Everything has to go somewhere. I don't know.
We need Marie Curie to figure this one out.
Yeah. So then what happens too is the girl, the Astrid, is really upset at her mother. Oh, that thing too is like the mother is constantly trying to reach out to this girl, but the daughter, Astrid, cannot stand the mother. I'm not even sure why. She seems like a nice person.
Well, at one point she says like she just thinks her mother is a fraud.
Yeah, because she sees dead people, you know.
And she doesn't believe in any of that sort of thing.
But again, like I said, the problem is some of these characters, especially these women, they have to doubt everything. Just doubting everything is just so cool. Yeah, this is all bogus, man. I got other things to do. so the daughter gets.
Bro, if my own daughter wouldn't believe me,
yeah,
like wouldn't you just be like, "Hey, Ghost, can you do me a favor really fast, man?" Just like like slap her in the face or something.
Yeah. And that's the thing is, like, every time she called, I forget what it said on her phone. It said like my supposed mother or something.
Yeah.
Yo, if I saw my freaking daughter, I was like, get the fuck out, man. Yeah, no,
no more Metro PCS for you, man. No more Cricket Wireless.
Yeah. No. So then, so what happens is the daughter Astrid is mad, so she just goes out and she starts like pedaling on a little bicycle. It
Which shows again. Women can't drive.
No, women cannot drive or ride a bike to save their freaking lives because she's all over the road. Everyone's beeping at her, and she almost caused like 3 or 4 accidents. And eventually she goes through a fence, and then she
didn't. There was no way she could see it, right?
Yeah, right.
Fence.
Yeah,
10-mile long fence. She couldn't see it.
Yeah, seriously. So then she hits the fence and rolls her. And to be honest, I thought, I don't think Grouch thought this, but when I saw this, I thought maybe she's dead now. Maybe she hit that fence so hard, now she's dead and she's seeing dead people.
I was actually thinking like, damn, look at that bike, man. I rear-ended Grumble's mailbox. He doesn't know about it. And like my whole like fender fell out, bro. You know what I mean? Like my muffler's on the floor.
Yeah.
That bike didn't even have like a bent wheel. And she ate it bad, man.
Yeah.
That's what I was thinking.
She
actually
had like a rollover like 3 times. She's going down, tumbling down this hill, and she just gets up. Oh, okay, I'm fine. The bike is fine.
But I never thought she was dead. But I told Grumble, I was like, hey, I bet you that kid is dead and his whole family's dead. I did call that.
Grouch called it. I was like, yeah, I don't know. I think maybe she's dead. But now I guess I kind of jumped the shark on that one. She wasn't dead. But yeah, he called it. He goes, I bet that kid is dead. And it was kind of fishy too because the guy that Astrid meets brings her into the house, and they kind of like just show the mother and father like just almost hidden. You don't see a lot of them. That's very suspicious. I was like, okay, maybe they're dead. Are the kids alive? That's what I thought. But yeah, Grouch called it. They're all dead. So
I've been calling movies since I was like 10. Remember when we went to go see Planet of the Apes, and I was like, yo, and I called the whole plot right then and there.
he goes, they're still on Earth.
Remember when we went to watch Star Wars, and I was like, I bet that's his father.
Now he's making up shit. Yeah, right. I bet it's his father, my ass, bro. You had me at Planet of the Apes. I was like, hey, he's
That
pretty
did happen.
Yeah. Oh, I'm doubting that shit now, though. That's his father. Get the fuck out of here, bro.
Man, when I watched Friday the 13th, I knew that was Jason's mother. You know a man walk like that.
No way you knew that, man. Get the fuck out of here.
Yo,
Really?
I've been calling movies since I was like 10.
So you knew that was not Jason? You know it was Jason's mother?
I was like, that's Jason's mama.
Damn. All right, listen. That's why you're part of the show, man. You can call it.
Man, I watched The Sixth Sense. I knew he saw dead people. And I knew Bruce Willis was dead. Yo, just like this lady has like her gift, I got my gift.
Well, that's why you're part of the show.
Hey.
So yeah, so Astrid is riding her bike and she crashes the fence. And then she meets some random boy. And you know, I gotta give props to this movie, to be honest, because you can see she's into this guy. I was like, damn, 2024 and this girl is straight? Wow, man. I was already, hey. It's impressive, man.
Straight into that fence.
Yeah, no, I can't believe she was a lesbian. I was like, all right, listen, I gave props for at least that. So she meets this boy, and of course, they right away hit it off. He's kind of like maybe into doom and gloom stuff like she is. We watch the next scene where they go to his bedroom. They're discussing stuff. And there was a tip-off, too, that this kid is dead because he had the book, the handbook for the afterlife. And you only get that book if you're dead. Just thinking back to the original movie. So, but he said, I bought it at a tag sale or something. So I was, well, I don't know. Maybe he did buy it at a tag sale. I have no idea. And they said, let's go and hang out on Halloween. So Lydia has this boyfriend from the I think the producer of her show, and they're supposed to get
too, I think.
Right, and they're supposed to get married on Halloween at midnight. And Astrid doesn't want anything to do with it, so she's like, "Hey, let's give out candy with this new beau she just met." And they're gonna hand out candy. She says, "Okay, I'll come over 10 o'clock. We'll hang out, hand out candy." So they get together to hand out the candy. So she shows up at the house the second time now, goes up to the bedroom, and they kiss. And all of a sudden now they're floating. The two of them are floating. And immediately she's like, oh my God, you're undead. You're a ghost. How can this be? And then she's like, oh yeah, I'm a ghost. And you know what? You can see your daddy. Because her daddy died. He got eaten by piranha, I guess. So he goes, oh, I can see my daddy? He says, yeah. You just got to read in this book, and we can go see your daddy. So okay, she reads the passage. A door opens up. And again, it's so freaking stupid. She goes, oh, all I got to do is do this chalk in this wall and a knock 3 times. That's pretty lame. She's so cool, man. Everything's lame to these people. So she goes in the thing with the guy, and now they're in the underworld or the beyond, and she wants to go see her daddy. She sees her daddy, but the whole point is the boyfriend wants to switch places so he can become living and she will stay in the afterlife, and that's basically the premise of the whole movie. It's kind of stupid. It's really dumb, I thought, because this ghost boy took Astrid into the afterlife. They're desperate, so they need to call him Beetlejuice. So they do the usual Beetlejuice. He shows up, and so he says, if you agree to marry me, I will save your daughter. He says, okay. So they go into the afterlife, and she now realizes she's been sold out because now she's supposed to stay there, and this guy's going to end up on Earth or be living again. Mm-hmm. And then what happens is Beetlejuice, once you get stamped, nothing you can do, but Beetlejuice takes the place of the guy that stamps the guy, thinking now he's going to go back to the real life or whatever. And as Beetlejuice stamps it, it's just really stupid, to be honest. And so since Beetlejuice stamped it, it's like you're shit out of luck or something like that on the stamp. Yeah. But it's pretty stupid.
Some interesting things that happen here is that how they gather everybody in the afterlife, right? Because she finally does get to see the dad, because he was working like one of the windows.
Yeah,
and then we find out that her grandma or whatever got bit by the snake, so she got ripped
like
off.
2 asps, so she ends up in the afterlife also.
Yeah, so they get the whole family, and there was a one point I kind of liked where like I didn't know if it was afterlife or if it was real life. Like they like meshed it like at one point for me. Like I was like, where are they? Like are they in afterlife or they're in the actual real world?
They bounced around
because
a lot.
Everybody at that point, everybody could see the dead. Beetlejuice was playing pranks on living, dead, whoever. Mm-hmm. I mean, he ended up putting like people inside phones and stuff, right?
Yeah.
And they were supposed to be alive. You see what I mean?
Yeah.
Like there was like that little like because those were the people. Eventually, find out Beetlejuice does like a truth serum on the manager,
right? And he's basically just doesn't give a crap about
right. And then Beetlejuice takes all the paparazzis and all the media that was like the crowd that gathered for the wedding and like stuck him inside the phone. If that's real life,
no, that was definitely real life. Yeah, so he came. I guess he still has powers in. Not only the afterlife, but in the regular world. So yeah, he's that powerful, I guess. I don't know. But yeah, so ultimately what ends up happening is Beetlejuice ends up saving Astrid, and now they go to the real world
to get married.
Right, to get married, because that was part of the agreement. If you marry me, I'll save your daughter. But then there's a cop in the afterlife who has like a bunch of like undead cops. That was really like ridiculous, I thought, and they were all supposed to like hunt them down because Beetlejuice is a wanted man in the afterlife, and they come out of these crypts to chase Beetlejuice down in the real world. They eventually corner him inside this cathedral or this chapel where the wedding is taking place. It was just really like toward the end of this movie, it's very nonsensical. It took me. I was just really ridiculous. I have a really good imagination, but this was just so dumb.
And then comes I think that leads into like the worst part of the movie, which is the actual wedding.
Oh, let me just say,
watching the bad lady dies, right?
Oh, right, yeah. Well, that comes more toward. It doesn't come way toward the end. The bad lady. How did she die?
Because the snakes came or something like that.
Oh yeah. It's the same scene, but yeah. They end up at the chapel. And of course, Astrid, being the phenomenal, super intellectual feminist, she glances through the book and she's able to know all these things. Literally, just flips through this freaking book and she knows. Oh,
because they were found by the lady. They were finally the lady reached Beetlejuice.
So the villain, the main antagonist, this whole movie, who's been hunting Beetlejuice this whole movie, eventually meets him at the chapel where Lydia's gonna marry Beetlejuice. So she shows up, and at one point, they find this like a snake creature in the desert, and then Astrid, just through flipping through this book, she knows how to call this snake, comes into the chapel, and for no real reason, the snake knows to attack the girl that's been chasing Beetlejuice the entire movie. Why wouldn't she just jump at the Reverend or anyone else? Nope. Right away, that freaking snake. Oh, there's that freaking broad. Let me get her. Forget everyone else. Stupid. Made no sense. And once again, because this girl's flipping through some book, she can memorize everything. Oh, if I did this, that, and the other, this snake will come up and attack that girl because I know everything about everything.
And that was page 75.
Yeah. And then, so they're about to get married. And again, this super genius feminist, I saw on page 325, it said, this marriage isn't legal because of A, B, and C. Stupid.
And then they say Beetlejuice 3 times and he blows up.
Yeah. And then, just because she reads some shit in this book, Beetlejuice, the contract disappears. And now the mama is saved because the daughter knows everything about everything. So, and then Beetlejuice basically disappeared. Oh, but I gotta say too, when I was watching this movie, I was thinking, this isn't so bad. This is okay. This is a mixed bag for sure, but it's got some decent and it's got some bad, no doubt.
Good Lord, that was the worst movie.
No. Let me tell you, the last 15 minutes, I got to deduct 2 points. Because there was such a ridiculous wedding scene where they played this song. I never heard this song before in my life, and it was freaking lame. It was terrible. And they're not only do they have like this is like, it's longer than Stairway to Heaven. I can tell you right now. It's like a 7-8 minute song, and they play the entire freaking song from beginning to end. And they're not only just singing, all of them are singing. Lydia, Astrid, the father, all of them are singing and dancing along with this song, and the cake has this ooze coming out. Freaking terrible, man. I had to look at Grouch. I was like, dude, this is horrible, man. When is the song gonna end? I'm like 5, 6, 7, 8 minutes. Like, good Lord, enough.
Skip.
Yeah, it was a fast forward, man. I hated it. It was terrible. And singing and dancing and dancing and singing. I was like, when is this shit gonna end?
By the way, after we left the theater, Grumble downloaded that song on his phone.
Never. It was a monstrosity of a song.
Man, next time we go to the Renaissance Fair, I bet that's playing.
Absolutely not. So then they're playing the song, and eventually it's got to be a happy ending. Everyone lives happily ever after. Beetlejuice is gone, and is hugging and kissing with Astrid and the mama and the
grandma,
Lydia's mother, whatever her name was, and everything's great. And then at the very end of the movie, I kind of figured this too. This is a lot of BS because they kind of try what happens after this, and all of a sudden Astrid is a very happy-go-lucky. She's like a normal girl. No way are they gonna end with that Astrid being a normal girl now. And she falls in love with this decent-looking guy. They get married. I was like, there's no way. There's no way it's gonna end like this. They cannot have that super genius feminist marrying a white straight man. There's no way. And of course, it's all in her mind. None of this happens.
It was the mom's nightmare.
Yeah, it was a mom had a nightmare, and she wakes up next to Beetlejuice, and then, that's a dream inside of a dream. And then she wakes up in bed by herself, of course, and it was all a dream. The whole ending was a dream. You know why it was a dream? Because they cannot have Astrid, this super radical feminist, marry a guy. No, she's got to be a lesbian for sure. She's probably going to find a lesbian, another black girl, and they're going to live happily ever after. But because it's 2024, she got to marry a black lesbian. And then there was a scene, too, where they're like, you got to get on the Soul Train. Soul Train! Yeah, so they go, here we go, the Soul Train. And of course, what is it? It's a bunch of black people dancing to the soul music from the 70s. And they even had the guy from Soul Train, some black guy. I don't know, I feel that guy is dead, but they have some guy, the conductor, some black guy. Welcome to the Soul Train, brothers. A bunch of black people dancing. I was like, that's racist, bro.
That's not as racist as as the dog.
Yeah, that's this. Listen, I lost a lot of respect for Tim Burton. That guy is racist as fuck. Just because it's called a Soul Train doesn't mean it's got to have all black people from the 70s dancing.
What about the dog at the beginning?
Yeah, at the beginning too is they got a little Chihuahua. Everyone knows Chihuahuas are Mexicans. They got to name the dog Taco? No, that's racist. Why not Chalupa? Or Gordita? Or Chimichanga? Racist! You know what? I think there was one redeeming scene in this movie, and I thought it was pretty good. This is the only scene I was like, well, that was pretty good.
Well, I thought the music was good.
Well, I love the theme song. Theme song, love it. Great song. But no, I thought the best scene in the movie was when they first introduced Beetlejuice, because to be honest, I was about to fall asleep. This movie was boring. The first 45 minutes, this just got to pick up. I am not enjoying this whatsoever. It's very boring, So then finally, they introduce Beetlejuice. 45 minutes in, we finally see Beetlejuice. I was like, here we go. Let's get somewhere with this. They have a scene where Lydia gets pregnant, and her belly blows up, and her water drops, and out comes like a baby Beetlejuice. But I thought she was funny. See the little baby Beetlejuice. Yeah, little baby Beetlejuice starts chewing on her kneecaps. I was like, well, that's pretty good. That I thought, best scene in the movie. It's not like laugh out loud funny, but it was amusing. It was original. I thought it was entertaining. Best part of the movie. But it did not save this movie for me. Too many things wrong with it. Okay, I just also want to say one thing too is, there's a part where they say, if you get murdered in the afterlife, you're gone. You're gone forever. That's it. But who's to say? I think there could be an afterlife. I mean, how do they know people? There's no afterlife. Just like Beetlejuice, there's afterlife. And they're like, once you die in the afterlife, that's it. How do you know? You know? They should come out in the Beetlejuice movie. They said have afterlife. Do you know, that's just ludicrous as the shit they were showing us.
Hey, if that happens, I saw that coming too.
Yeah, exactly. No, that was stupid too. So, if you die in the afterlife, that's it. There's no coming back. How do you know?
Maybe it's in the book on page 326.
Yeah. Let Astrid read through that book. She can figure that shit out. Now, let's just get to the final reviews. This movie is not worth all of this chatter. Very disappointing. To be honest, when I was watching this movie, I want to say like halfway through, I was like, I'm right away trying to think about what I'm going to give this movie. I'm thinking 5 out of 10. This is not terrible. It's my biggest problem. It's just boring, but it did have some redeeming qualities, certain levels of originality. I thought, okay, that's interesting. Okay, but let me tell you, the last 20-30 minutes, so ludicrous, so dumb, so bad, not entertaining, not fun. And they had a part, like I said, where they're singing a song. Everyone's singing along for like 7-8 minutes. I just looked at Grouch. When is this song going to end? How much more do I have to endure? Imagine November Rain, but it sucked.
And twice as long.
And twice as long. And like dancing, and it's choreographed, and they're like the patty cake, they're slapping each other's hand and dancing around, and I thought the Soul Train dancing was bad. Oh, this is terrible, the Soul Train. I hated this. But this is way worse than Soul Train. I'd rather take Soul Train than watching these freaking people patty caking and dancing and singing along. And they all had to have their moment where they sing a certain verse of the song. Lydia had a part. Beetlejuice had a part. Astrid, Lydia's husband or soon-to-be husband, they're all singing along. Really whack. I thought... At one point, I was like, what are we watching? This is terrible. And I felt like I want to go home. I don't want to watch this anymore. I couldn't take it. It's really bad. I would love it if anyone in the audience thought that was a good ending, or that song was really good, or that scene was really redeeming and entertaining. And so with that, we're going to lead now to our final reviews.
What do you give it?
I'll have you go first. What say you, my friend?
Unwatchable.
No, it's not that bad. Unwatchable? No.
Unwatchable. Let me see. To be honest, I was a little bored here and there, and it did have a couple of. I thought some of the lines were kind of funny. Like, I enjoyed the humor actually. I something that sticks in my mind was like they were at the funeral, and then the mother was there. And like two people were like consoling her or something, and she's like, "Is that so and so?" You know? And they were like, "Oh no, nobody's here." Like little jokes like that, like dark humor, because nobody's there. But meanwhile, there's like 20,000 people there already, but like they don't matter.
Yeah.
Like I don't know. Like I enjoyed some of the humor. Some of the visuals were nice.
I agree. Yeah.
Yeah, but. It was overall, I thought it was boring, and the last scene kind of like I did want it to end. So 3.
I totally agree. I thought up until about halfway through the movie, it was a solid 5 with some entertaining parts. I just thought my biggest problem wasn't that it was just like really that unfunny. It was amusing. That's the word for not funny really, but amusing. But my biggest problem halfway through was it was just boring. I was really just getting kind of bored.
The only thing that woke me up was Lydia breathing.
Right. So yeah, I up until like middle, I gave it a 5, but the ending was so abominably bad, I have to deduct 2 points, and I'm also giving it a 3.
Wow.
I'm totally agreement.
I think that's the first movie that has the same score.
Yeah, that's the first one we've actually exact same score. I give it a 3. Not worth watching. I think you're wasting your time, particularly the ending. All the redeeming qualities that what saved it for me were Lost in the last 20, 30 minutes. It was just ridiculous. It was really dumb. The singing took me out of it. I was like, and listen, if you have like 30 seconds, sure, I get it. 30 seconds, okay, now move on. 5, 6, 7, 8 minutes? I was like, good God, when is this song going to end? So I give it a 3. Do not watch this movie. And
On that note,
We are close.
it's the itchy, it's great. No, what? It's the Grumble and Grouchy Show.